Hello everyone, Sunny here and welcome back to another video. I've been playing on Minecraft Bedrock Edition since it first released with Better Together, and over that time I have created a lot of different redstone testing worlds. Some of these are a couple years old, some of them were only used for a couple of days, and overall I just have a lot of different worlds. This one right before you here is my main redstone testing world, UA Test. I created this one when Update Aquatic first released a couple of years ago, and at the time I wasn't planning on this one becoming my main redstone testing world, but over the last couple of years, a lot of my worlds have either been corrupted, deleted, it just became way too buggy, and the issue is that this world before you here isn't actually my main redstone testing world. It's kind of like a version of it, a copy, a clone. I have dozens and dozens of different redstone testing worlds, all played in different versions and different updates with different farms and contraptions in them. Basically, it's like one world has been shattered into about 20 different pieces. Overall, I probably have about 50 different redstone testing worlds, and I feel like this is a pretty standard thing that a lot of Minecraft players experience. You just end up with a whole lot of different worlds with a whole lot of different things in them, and my idea is to combine every single redstone testing world that I have and get every single contraption, every single tutorial, and absolutely everything I've ever designed on Bedrock Edition into one single world and one single update at one single time. That way it's all in one place and it'll be beautiful. This is going to be a new little mini series on the channel, probably like 3 videos, and we're going to be creating my ultimate redstone testing world. Since this is a little mini series and it's very different from the regular content on the channel, there's a very good chance that these videos could absolutely flop because y'all just aren't interested in the redstone bits. But if this series does do good and gets enough likes or whatevers, I don't even know what YouTube is anymore, then I am going to be releasing a world download of my ultimate redstone testing world at the end of the series. So if you do like this series, make sure to leave a like. This is going to be a more administrative focused series. There's going to be a lot of world edit, there's going to be a lot of commands, there's going to be a lot of technical things, and overall it should be great fun and you'll probably learn quite a bit. So first task of the day is just like organizing all the different worlds, and this is something that you probably struggle with as well. As you can see right now I got 33 worlds, which isn't actually like that many. I have about 70, but a lot of them are just like in a downloads folder elsewhere. That way they're not cluttering up this screen, because as you can see, this is not a very well organized list. As you can see, I got a lot of different stuffs going on. I got farland worlds, I got a testing world with all of my enderman farms in it, I got this world with just like my super old gold farms in it that I know you guys really want me to update. But these things are still amazing. Look at that, they're still beautiful. So this is a world, this is from Legacy Console Edition. That's like old school. Yeah, this is my other redstone testing world from way back. My first ever redstone testing world, made this the day I started my channel, and Bedrock Edition has kind of just broken it several times. So I would like to get everything in this world into my main UA test world as well. But wait, there's more. I had to make copies of the main UA test world and then load them in older versions so I could speed up the game for testing contraptions, which means that there's now at least 3 or 4 or 5 different versions of the UA test world with different contraptions in them that are not in the main copy of the world. We also have experimental and beta worlds of the UA test. We got just all kinds of random stuff going on. There's also 4 different copies of the sandstone testing world. I have no idea what the difference between those ones is. And then beyond all that, there's also all of these different worlds. So I have all the public world downloads for you guys, such as every single farm download that I've ever done. All of these need to be put into the main UA a test world as well. As you can see, there's just a lot of different stuff in here, many different things. And then of course we have all of the other private world downloads as well, such as the downloads that are completely broken and just unrecoverable completely. So first, the tip of the day is that you can actually color code your worlds. I have no idea why I haven't done this up to this point, but if you put this little stacked S symbol into your world name and then put a character after that, it'll actually change the color, which is of course incredibly convenient. And you can also put multiple of these as well. So like I can put 2 different colors in this name, and now as you can see, it stands out a lot more. This is now going to be my main redstone testing world, and I know that this one is my main world. I don't know why it says 1.16.4.0. I assume that I loaded it in a previous update at some point, which is probably gonna cause issues, so we'll have to deal with that a little bit later. But this right here is going to be the world that we put everything else into. The one world for all things ever. I'm excited for this, actually. It's about time. And now we're starting to feel a little bit organized. So as you can see, we got the blue name for the main world, the one world. And then we got the orange names for the super old redstone testing worlds that we're also trying to revive as well. We got green names for worlds that we need to take stuff out of and put into the main world. And then we got the magenta names for the beta worlds. These are worlds that aren't actually all that important. They were just in the betas and they're kind of just for mountain ranges, except this one right here. I actually have no idea what's in this world. It was loaded in experimental mode. I don't know if it's in the beta. We'll figure that out at a later time as well. It might have some stuff of use in it. And then all the rest of these worlds down here are still like one-off worlds that should just stay on their own. And now it's time for probably the first interesting part of the video so far. I'm sorry, things are slow, okay? It's complicated and boring. But we're going to be messing around with a new world editor for Bedrock Edition, and this is called Amulet. This is the first ever world edit I've seen for Bedrock Edition that allows you to access the world in 3D. So unlike other world edits that only allow you to see it in a top-down view, this actually allows you to edit the world in 3 dimensions, fly around in it, explore it, and select different areas. So we're going to open up this world right here, which has some sugarcane farms in it, and we're going to click on the 3D editor on the left side. Now this is still in an early version, of course, but it's so amazing. I mean, look at this. So we're going to go over to this area right here, and as you can see, there is the villager trading hall, and 3D. It is so awesome looking. Now this can also be used as a indirect spectator mode as well, because if you fly downwards, as you can see, you basically have spectator mode, and you can explore your entire world with spectator. You can see all the caves, you can see underground builds, there is a mob spawner over here somewhere, and it's actually a really cool and really powerful tool. So we are in this world specifically for these sugarcane farms that have been designed right here. I had to go back to an older version to actually test these designs and speed up the game and make sure that they would actually work correctly in the long term. So if we switch back to Minecraft real quick, you can see that this is the same area of the world, but a different version of the world, and we have all of our storage tech over here. So what we need to do inside of Amulet is we need to select this entire area, which we can do very easily. We're going to click on that block right there, and then we're going to fly over to this area, and then fly upwards. There we go. So fly upwards and then basically select this entire square. A really nice thing about Amulet is that you can have multiple worlds open at the same time. So if you go back to your main menu, you can just open another world. As you can see, we have the main testing world open right here. And then of course we have a different version of this world open with the sugarcane farms. So we're going to select this entire area with the sugarcane farms, hit copy on that, and then we're going to bring this over to the main testing world and hit paste over to here. Now that'll bring up this entire box. It's a little bit wonky to control it, but we can place it just about right there or so. If I click on that, then that'll stay in place. Whoops, controls are a little bit wonky. And now we can see that the ground layer is correct and all of this stuff is pretty much good to go. But if we go ahead and hit confirm on that, then that'll start pasting things into the chunks. So here goes nothing. We should have those sugarcane farms sitting here in this world. And yes, as you can see, we actually do. Fantastic. That was, all things considered, a very, very painless process. So now we have an entire redstone testing world with those sugarcane farms in it, completely useless to us. We can go ahead and delete that, and that is one entire section of farms copy pasted into this world. It looks like all the redstone is still firing as well. There's still items inside of the hoppers. This chest still has items in it, and it looks like all the pistons and everything are still firing. The sugarcane is still planted. Blocks are still waterlogged. That's honestly pretty amazing for a pretty new set of world edit for Bedrock Edition. Like, all of this stuff is still here and still functional. The redstone clocks are still going. Structure blocks are still here. Count me as thoroughly impressed with this world edit tool. I would highly, highly recommend this. But overall, this is a great first little trial run of this world edit tool. Really, really cool. GG Amulet devs. I love this a lot. So I need to do that little copy paste thing like a couple hundred times in order to get every single thing I've ever designed into this one world. And of course we could go ahead and do that and just have like an absolute mess of redstone contraptions literally everywhere in this world. Or what we could do is be a little bit proactive and a little bit more organized and set up a couple of districts specifically for these different farms, specifically for copy pasting things into, and I feel like that'll help us a lot in the long term. So there's a couple of different districts that I want. The first district is going to be the area that we actually copy paste in every single tutorial, and I mean every single tutorial. Every tutorial I've ever made on the channel is going to be lined up in a nice little row. That way, whenever there's a new update, we can go through and test absolutely everything and see if anything has broken. This will allow me to really keep up on top of my builds and make sure everything is working at peak efficiency at all times. So that is kind of the idea. I'm thinking we're going to put the area right here in this zone. There's not really much in this area besides a little dirt shack. You're probably thinking I should use World Edit to create this area, but I kind of have a bunch of very convenient command blocks to create this kind of zone for me. I can literally just walk around. This is putting a couple layers of grass beneath me and then a bunch of stone underneath that as well. And overall, it makes it really easy to do redstone testing and designing on top of. Well, I seem to have hit the chicken cooker. Be free, chickens! You deserve it! Although there's no longer any habitat for you to be free in. Just like how the dirt house got deleted. I'm kind of bad at being precise with this, aren't I? Oops, my bad. I appear to have solved the chicken issue. No issues here anymore. Yup, I'm definitely a professional problem solver. Well, that all went pretty quickly, and now we got a nice big flat area to paste a fair amount of builds in. Obviously, not all of them will fit here. We're gonna have to find a solution for the bigger farms. As you can see, we got a lot of different mob farms that I've designed, beacon factories, enderman farms, and nether-based farms, all kinds of stuff. So we'll probably need a series of teleports in order to visit the larger builds. So the next district that we need is all of the spawning sphere layouts and simulation distance markers. Now, luckily, I have a beta world from way back when 1.16 was in development with all of these markers. Now, I copy pasted all of them into this world, which equaled about a 2,000 block long layout of iron blocks and all the sim distance markings, and that actually went well into unloaded chunks. So there was a bunch of void underneath it and randomly generated chunks, and it was just like overall a really big mess. So I had to roll back from that, and the current idea is to nestle all these sim distance markings inside of one another, kind of like this right here. Now, the issue with that is inside of Amulet, the only selection area that you can have is a cubic area, so we can't do this like a diamond shape. So as you can see, I did have the 12 chunk simulation distance marker right there, but then I pasted the 10 chunk inside of that, and that deleted all of these edges right here, which is kind of an issue. So I'm gonna have to like skip over the 10. So I'll paste the 12 back in here, and then go to 8, and then go to 4. I'll just have to manually mark out some of these sim markings, but these things take so long to mark out that as long as I can get some of them copy pasted in here, that'll be a massive success. Especially because we don't have any of the chunk border texture packs anymore. Getting just a couple of these in here is going to be huge. So now for like the 4th time, I can finally paste in this 12 sim marker. You can't really see it all the way because, well, the low render distance and stuff, but you can see it's a very big box. Now, I marked out one chunk in the world. That way we can actually make sure this whole thing is chunk aligned, because I also forgot to do that on all of the previous attempts. There's been a lot of this video that has been cut out so far. I definitely should have made that selection box a little bit bigger, because now we got all these trees in the area, and we also got some mountain ranges over here, but that's fine. So the 12 chunk simulation distance is now back in order. So another tip with this, before you try and open your world after making any edits or something, always close it inside of Amulet. That way you don't have any issues with things not being there or being taken away, or just basically save sync issues. Now, it might, freeze up a little bit when you try and close it inside of Amulet. That's just, Minecraft being Minecraft, basically, but it shouldn't really crash from my experience. And now if we go ahead and load up the world, then everything is going to be just fine. So, yes, there we go. As you can see, we now have the 4, 8, and 12 chunk simulation distances marked out, and of course the edges of the 12 chunks still got cropped a little bit, but this is still a massive amount of time saved. Marking out these things manually takes forever, so I will have to go through and like touch this up a little bit, but that is perfectly fine. Well, that took a couple of hours to save a couple of hours, so net positive? Question mark? I don't know. So since I rolled back the world because that paste went into unloaded chunks, that means that this area over here is no longer cleared out, which is actually perfectly fine, because I realized that the little dirt hut over here is actually Gnarly Fan's lovely home. I totally forget what video this is from, but this is way too adorable to ever destroy. So I'm gonna leave him alone in his little shack in the redstone testing world in the middle of the forest with his cute little ponds and his chicken cooker, and we're gonna find another area of the world to paste all the builds into. And you know what? He can just stay over there. He's too adorable. It breaks my heart. Well, it probably doesn't seem like it, but this episode has actually taken about 5 hours to make. A lot of that was trial and error, learning Amulet, but the things that we've learned from today's episode and the foundations that we've laid with this testing and with this development will make it so that the next episodes in creating our ultimate redstone testing world will go a lot smoother. So we're going to be copy pasting a lot of different things into these worlds, creating new areas, testing new farms, testing old farms, and overall I think it's going to be a very cool little process. This is also going to be more of a community-based process as well, because I'm going to need your guys' help to test all of the old designs and contraptions on the channel, on different devices, in different worlds, to see what is broke, when, where, what, why, and how. So over the next coming episodes, you guys will see a lot more of that, and there's also going to be a few live streams working on this project as well, because you guys are missing so many premium derps in between cuts here that I think would make for a great live stream, so stay tuned for that as well. About half of the footage of this episode got trashed because of derps, but I hope that you have enjoyed this first little pilot episode of the mini-series of creating the ultimate redstone testing world. You're going to be getting more episodes of this whether you like it or not, so just leave a like on the video, help support the channel. It really does go a very long way and does more than you can ever know, so thank you so much for that. If you are new to the channel, then consider subscribing so you don't miss future content like this and also very different from this, and otherwise I'll see you guys down in the comment section and in the next one. Thank you so very much for watching, I truly do appreciate it. And then there was silence.